All right. Hey guys. So today we're gonna do a bit of a run through on culturing Galeria melanella, or the greater wax moth, and so we will do this in a couple of different parts. I'm gonna start with the food for Galeria. So the adults don't feed, but the larvae feed on the innards of beehives. So what I have is my dry food mix here. So this is 1 part bee pollen, 1 part multi-grain baby cereal. So like you can use Gerber. I also use this Earth's Best, and I've also got Happy Baby. And bee pollen, as long as it's in powder form, anything works. Then what you want is honey. And I don't mean the honey that you get from the grocery store. That stuff is crap. The honey from the grocery store is ultra filtered if it's not fake. And that gets all of the phytoliths and all the good stuff that you really want in your waxworm food out of your waxworm food. So I go to like an apiary or a farmer's market or something where they sell actual real honey that they've collected from their beehives. I bought a lot of it when I was back in Rhode Island. I got this big ass thing here. And what you want to do is you want to get a deli cup. You can see I've had other batches of the waxworm food in here. And what we're going to do... Jesus. That'll do. Is we're going to use a 4-ounce cup, and we're going to measure out 4 ounces of honey. Boom, boom, boom. 4 ounces of honey. Oh crap. Here. Let me just clean that up a little bit, because there's already honey on my floor, but that's okay. On my carpet, but that's okay. I probably won't be getting my security deposit back when I move out of this place, but you know, we can't all be perfect. So let me scoop out all of that honey, get it all into my cup. Do 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 do. Got it. Okay, the next thing I need to do, once I completely close my honey jar, because my roommate's dogs like to poke their noses around down here, and they, you know, alright. So then I got a 2-ounce cup here, and I'm going to measure out 2 ounces of glycerol. It's plant vegetable glycerin, or glycerol. It's important it's not glyceraldehyde, but glycerin and glycerol are basically the same thing. I'm going to pour that into my honey. Do. My hands are very, very sticky right now. Let me get the rest of that out of there. Okay. Next, I'm going to stir this very well. Get these 2 bits of my mix incorporated. Then I'm going to start adding my dry mix into the honey glycerin mix. You're going to need a good bit of it. So I'm going to just work that in there. Get it all mixed in. Get it nice and incorporated. And I'm going to stir it really well I'm watching the, what's it called? The incorporation and the moisture level. It's still way too moist. I'm going to add a lot more of the dry mix. You want it to be kind of like really thick dough. I'm trying to think of a comparable, like, you almost want it to be like bread dough. I don't know if anybody else here has ever made bread. I'm going to keep adding some. And you'll notice that I'm using quite a bit of my dry mix, because you really want this to be mostly dry mix. The honey and the glycerin just give it a little bit of that texture and that palatability, but it's really going to be mostly your dry matter that gets incorporated in. And I'm just going to keep stirring. It does hurt your hand after a while. But you really want it to be nice and incorporated, nice and thoroughly stirred. Nicely mixed in. I'm still seeing a little too much moisture, but maybe if I stir it a little better, that will diminish. But I may add a little bit more, because if you see that, it still looks a little shiny to me. Still looks a little wet to me. So I'm definitely going to add more of my dry mix. Although I see some unincorporated dry mix in here as I stir. I'm just trying to angle that better. There we go. I'm going to keep stirring this. Really make sure I got every bit of it incorporated. I'm going to add some more of my dry mix. What is my bearded dragon doing up there? It's fine. It's coming out really well now. It's coming along. I'm going to keep just like twisting and stirring a bit. I just want to get the last bit of this dry mix incorporated, and then that should be about good. I'll show you what the finished product looks like in general. Oh, crap. I shouldn't have scratched my nose, but that's okay. Here we go. Alright, let's see. So it's kind of the texture of modeling clay at this point. So let's see if I can line this up. So as you can see, it doesn't have, it's very mendable now. It almost feels like Play-Doh or that sensory sand stuff that they sell, where like it doesn't make a mess when you it doesn't really crumble apart anymore. And that's kind of what you're going for. So this is pretty much good. I'm just gonna make sure that I have it thoroughly mixed, thoroughly distributed throughout. And the reason I'm doing this now is so that I have a good supply of food for the caterpillars for the next part of this. Alright, so that's about good. You can kind of see the color, the texture. It's lost most of that shine to it, so it's a good moisture content now. You can see how much of the dry mix we use for that. But that'll do. This is that's a good, see, it's not really falling off the spoon in little pieces. It comes off in one big clump. That's kind of what you want. That's what you're going for. Alright, so now it's time to talk about container setups. So I use these shallow food storage containers. You can get them at Walmart, like a 10-pack, you know, I don't know, $6. But what you want to do first is you want to take your lids here and you want to ventilate them. So I'm going to take my soldering iron. Nope. Take my soldering iron. Here we go. And I'm going to poke some holes through this plastic. see. Oops. Got to get up, get the feeling, don't fight it, sending my love from the other side of the apocalypse. And I just about snapped, don't look back. Every lover's got a little dagger in their hand. Alright, so I've ventilated my lid. And then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to plug those holes with some cotton. So I just use cotton roll, but you can use cotton balls just fine. And I'm just going to shove the cotton into these holes so that the mothies and the caterpillars can't escape. Alright, we have one tray here of nearly grown larvae that need a little bit of food, so I'm going to give them some food. I'm going to just scoop in some of the food in there. There you go, guys. Okay. They got food. Close that back up. And now we can get on to the next part here. How do you establish a new colony? So what we want to do first is we want to get some wax paper. I'm going to start 2 new containers today. So I'm going to get some wax paper. Cut this in half real quick. Hang on. Alright, I'm gonna press the wax paper down into the bottom of the container. Okay, then I'm gonna put some food down in there. Okay, now, because the moths are really active and they move around quite easily, I usually let the moths emerge out into a net cage like this. And what I want to do is I want to loosely put the lids on these first. That'll do. Crap, I got some food on my carpet. And Matilda will come down and lick that up, I'm sure. Okay. Now I'm going to catch about a dozen of these moths and throw them into the new little bin. Come here. Now, I tried to get mostly females in there. The females are bigger and darker, so I think that's a male. The males are a little bit more whitish in color, and they're about half the size. So let's see if this... I think this is a female right here. Yeah, that's a female. Where did she go? Let's see. They are not the easiest things to grab. So that looks like a female to me. We can flip this one over and take a look. Yeah, that's a female. You can see the relative size. Now let's see if we can grab them for comparison. Let's see here. That's a female. So that looks like a male right there. Yeah, that's a male. So he's much smaller and he's a lighter color. So I've set up a new bin for them. You generally would want to put maybe like, I don't know, 7 or 8 females and 4 or 5 males. Alternatively, if you don't want to deal with the adults that are really flighty, you could go ahead and, where did the lid to this go? Here it is. You could just collect cocoons and pupae. So let's see. If you wonder what that bin is, that's just my founding colony that I had in here. But this group looks like we've got some fresh cocoons in there, so let's see. Oh, there's an adult female. I think that's a female. I'm just going to throw her in there. Let's gather some cocoons. So this is a cocoon that's already emerged, and you can tell because it feels very light, and also there's a split at the end of it here where the moth came out of. You can just tell. Let's see if we can find an unemerged cocoon. So this is a cocoon that hasn't emerged yet. If you hold it up to some light, you can see the pupa still inside, and it's got some heft to it. It's got weight to it. See, here's another female. You can tell it's a female just by how big she is and her color. Alright, so what will happen is, over the course of a few days, the non-feeding adults will mate. Females will oviposit along... Whoa! Fuck! They will oviposit along the, what's it called? The, wax paper, and the larvae will begin to hatch and develop. Now, a couple of considerations here. These moths live in beehives, and so you want to kind of remember what the inside of a beehive is like. It's pretty cramped, it's warm, and it's dark. Here's my Galeria cabinet. I've got heating pads or heat tape set to 95. Trust me, you'll want it to be around 95 because at room temperature the egg itself takes 2 months to hatch, and then it's another 6 or 7 months before they pupate. It's 11 weeks at 95. It's 11-week life cycle at 95 Fahrenheit. And so I've got my containers here. So let's see. These are larvae that are almost done developing, and what you'll notice, I mean, there are larvae that are slightly younger in here too, but you'll just notice they just silk their living shit out of the inside of this container, and they like to grab this stuff and incorporate it into their silk webbing. But you can see that there are larvae of different sizes. There's poop. I just added some food, so they've got some food to feed on. They're thriving in here, guys. I need to, like, hire somebody to, like, film my stuff for me, I swear. Go back. This is a younger bin. You can see the dead adults. You can see all the hatched eggs up here. The larvae are all hiding within here. And so, if you were to pick this up, let's see, I don't see, they're tunneling through the food right now. What you'll eventually start to see underneath this is an accumulation of like a yellowy dust, and that's just the poop of the young larvae. Here's another young, new starting culture. You really don't want to disturb them too much. This is just for demonstration purposes. But you can see the dead adults. Trying to figure out where the eggs were laid. Oh, you can see some of the eggs up there. Those are hatched at this point. Oh, there are some hatchling larvae. Oh, sorry. Hang on, you can see all the hatchling larvae along there. They will find their way to the food. They don't really need much help. They can move around quite easily. I'll just stick the food right there. They'll find their way in. They'll figure it out. There we go. And I'll just close this up to really limit the amount of light that gets to them. Because remember, they would live in dark, warm, cramped quarters. So you want to kind of mimic that. And that's how you do Galeria melanella.